There are key components and key ingredients in the recipe of a student mentality. Number one, you need to be disciplined. The future is very expensive, and only those who are carriers of discipline can inherit the future. I need you to stay motivated. I don't care if you have to listen to me 1,000 times. I need you to stay motivated. And I need that motivation to mature into discipline. I need you to be self-aware. So I need you to remember that you are always learning. In life, you are always learning. And I need you to believe in yourself. I need you to see yourself capable, lovable, and unconditionally worthy of your future. Turn your pain into progress. I need you to see yourself. See yourself. One of the things that many students lack is vision. You got to see yourself before you get there. You have to hear yourself telling yourself thank you. I need you to open up your ears. Open up your ears, because the you from the future is telling you thank you. Thank you for not giving up when you wanted to give up. Thank you for not being depressed. Thank you for not allowing the brokenness to eat your progress. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You got this. It's going to get hard sometimes, I'm telling you right now. It's not going to be easy, but it's worth it. Maybe you're listening to me right now, you want to lose weight, or you're trying to pass the final exam, or maybe there's just this feat that seems as though it is impossible. Turn your pain into progress. Turn your pain into progress. I need you to be uncomfortable with average. I need you to be allergic to average. I need you to come to the end of yourself. So many people are depending on you. A student is hardworking. A student is mentally tough. Have the ability to adapt. Have a character, consistency. Demonstrate courage on the daily. Stay motivated. Stay positive. Earn your respect. Have a winning attitude. Breathe. Compete. Make no excuses. Set goals. Practice great habits. Stay focused. You want your future? You gotta outwork everybody on that field. You gotta outwork everybody in the room. You gotta learn how to perform under pressure. You gotta leave it all out on the field. Everybody wants the future, but everybody wants to be average. There are gonna be times where you feel like you're losing your mind, and you study for hours, and you're gonna take an exam, and you will not pass. A student is resilient. A student is disciplined. A student is committed. A student is consistent, even when they don't want to be. Because the cycle of depression needs to end with you. The cycle of not enough needs to end with you. The lack and the dysfunction and the anxiety and all of these things that your family and your father and your mother have gone through. You have to keep a student mentality. I studied and I failed the exam. I studied and I failed the test. And life is an uphill war, and it is filled with tests and exams and critical moments where you are going to have to dig deep inside of yourself and ask yourself why. Why did you start in the first place? And what was the emotion, the feeling? What was the science and the psychology behind the decision that you made? And 9 times out of 10, I can tell you why you started. You started because you were hungry. Hunger is the feeling of discomfort or weakness caused by a lack of food coupled with a desire to eat. How hungry are you? When you feel like throwing in the towel, when you feel like surrendering everything you worked for, remember why you started. Remember how you felt when you started. You were hungry. When you want to let go, when you want to surrender, when you want to stop, when you're ready to quit, when you have failed and failed again. Let me remind you what got you here. Hunger got you here. A strong desire got you here. You were desperate to break curses in your family. You were desperate to break the cycle of poverty and depression. You were desperate. Hunger got you here. Remember this. Every dream requires discipline. Every dream requires discipline. You can travel the world and study students and their behaviors and their mindsets. There is a science behind achievement. And when you study the most successful students in the world, we find that they are responsible, they are motivated, they are self-managed, they are self-aware. They have a long-lasting student mentality even after they have passed the test. Because they understand that life is a test. And in life, there are ups and there are downs. And so accept the responsibility. See yourself as primarily responsible for your outcomes and your experiences. You are going to need discipline. Motivation will help you get started. But discipline is going to keep you on the road to your destiny. You got to be self-motivated. You got to find purpose in what you do by discovering personally meaningful goals and dreams. If you're going to be a successful student, if you're going to come out on top, you've got to start managing your time. You plan and you take action in pursuit of your goals and dreams. So let me tell you something. Everybody has a dream, but there is a behavior that must follow your belief system. Remember this, behavior follows belief. If you have not been able to change your behavior to match your dream, then you need to go back and examine your belief. Because 10 times out of 10, if you can't change your behavior to match your dream, then you don't believe. When somebody believes, everything changes. The time is coming where you are going to feel like giving up. But you're going to have to remember why you started. You got to dig deep and learn how to create possibilities for yourself when nobody gives you an opportunity. You have to turn your mess into your message.
I can tell you, I'm going to make my dreams become a reality. And it starts right here with my studying. The work ethic and discipline that I practice will carry me, not only through university, but through the rest of my life. I don't care how much I have to invest, how much time I have to invest, how many hurdles I have to jump through. I'm going to continue doing this until I'm successful. I love how Eric Thomas talks about his show up rule. He says, you can pretend that you care, but you can't pretend that you're there. The only way you can show that you care is if you show up. And what I'm asking you to do for me is to show up every single day. It's easy to miss a class on Monday morning when you're feeling tired. The problem is, you'll miss that one class and you'll get away with it. Then you'll miss another class, and then another, and then another. It's human nature. If we can get away with it and gain instant short-term satisfaction from it, then we keep on doing it. And it's an easy trap to fall into. That's why it's so important to not miss even one class, because it can quickly snowball into something more dangerous.
And it's funny, because the more obsessed you get with your studying, the louder the haters will get. The more they will try to drag you down and pull you back down to their level. And when I say obsession, don't get me wrong. Your health and well-being should always be put first. Exercise, eat well, sleep 8 hours a night, and then study like a madman throughout the entire day. People will think you're crazy. Why are you studying so much? What's the point? Why don't you ever leave your desk? Why do you always spend so much time reading textbooks? If people don't think you're crazy, you're not yet operating at the outer limits of your potential. You're not there yet. And that's the difference between people that are good and people that are great. The good are passionate. The great are obsessed. Obsession is a necessity.
But in order to make that change, you need to be real with who you are. If you're disappointed with your grades, what could you have done differently? Did you really study to your full potential? Did you really not procrastinate at all when you were revising? And when you look deep within you, it can get raw, and it can get ugly sometimes when you're looking in the mirror. But if you're not real with who you are, then nothing's gonna change. But you will be bold and courageous enough to look in the mirror and fix what's in that mirror. And how you address it is you deal with it head on. You deal with it every day. You deal with it every single day of your life, where you say, okay, I'm not performing as well as I could in math, so I'll allocate an extra 1 hour a day towards that. And that's when growth happens. That's when life really begins.
As Jim Rohn puts it, taking responsibility for whatever happens to you, it's one of the highest forms of human maturity, accepting full responsibility. It's the day you know you've passed from childhood to adulthood, knowing that you have consciously made the decisions that are now affecting you, knowing that what is happening now, today, is the direct result of your actions yesterday.
Every one of you, in 5 years, is going to arrive somewhere. And here's the thing. So many people are just relying on haphazardly stumbling around in life, relying on chance, and just hope it all works out. You don't have to throw your life to chance. You have a choice. You can choose which direction your life goes. And the first step to making that choice is to not negotiate with procrastination.
Taking responsibility means counting on yourself, trusting yourself, being confident with yourself, doing the right thing, trusting your own instinct, learning from the mistakes that you have made, but also taking the credit from your wins. I used to have a long list of reasons why my grades weren't that good. I felt I had to explain myself, otherwise I would look bad. I had this weird list called Reasons for Not Looking Good. I used to blame my professor. He wasn't teaching me anything. I used to blame my parents. They didn't give me enough support. I used to blame my friends. After school, they kept asking me to go out with them. I used to blame not having enough time. And most students have this list. It can even be pages and pages long. But you need to screw up that paper. Throw it in the bin. Get a blank sheet of paper and write one word. Me. Because it's not what happens that determines the quality of your life. And the reason is because what happens to you happens to all of us. All of your classmates had the same professor as you. All your classmates had the same amount of time as you. The same thing can happen to two different people, but one student gets good grades, the other student gets poor grades. Why is that? It's because it's not what happens. It's what you do that changes everything.
Don't avoid the struggle. Don't avoid the obstacles. They're always going to be there. They're not going to go away. The question is, are they controlling you, or are you controlling them? The question is, are you at the wheel, or are they at the wheel? Are you playing the victim, or are you playing victor into those things? That's the question. Believe in yourself.
If you continue doing the same tomorrow that you did today, I know exactly what grades you'll get this year. Just look at last year. Because if there's no improvement there in your studying, then you'll just continue getting the same grade. So, if I had a chat with you tonight, one-on-one, just you and me, my personal advice to you would be, reach down inside of you and come up with more of those remarkable human gifts that you have within you. They're there, waiting to be utilized, and then change anything in your life that you want to change. And I challenge you to do that, because I know you have the ability to change. If you don't like how it is for you, change it. If you don't like your grades, study more. If you don't like your body, go to the gym. If you don't like your friends, get new friends. You don't have to be the same after this video. And if you are, it's completely your choice. Take full responsibility. Don't complain. Be prepared. Be kind. And go out there and study. I like how Andy Frisella put it. He said, "Have you done what you said you were gonna do on January 1st last year? Did you stick to your New Year's resolutions? Or did you just talk about doing them? Did you just tell yourself that you were going to do it? Doing anything successful, doing anything important is going to take discipline. There's always gonna be a reason to wait. There's always gonna be a busy schedule. There's always gonna be something unexpected that happens. It's always going to be that way. You have to work through it. You have to prioritize your studying and make it more important than everything else going on in your life. But a lot of you don't want it enough. It's easy to fall into loving the idea of something, and it's hard to fall into the habits of action to actually achieve the grades you're aiming for. It's not about after the vacation, or after the film, or after the YouTube video. It's about right now. People who succeed stick to the plan regardless. When you tell yourself you're going to study 4 hours tonight for your exam next week, you need to do it. You are all curious about what the secret is, why certain people succeed when you don't succeed. Well, I'm gonna tell you why. Successful people, while you're whining and crying about how things are hard and why things aren't fair, guess what they're doing? They're doing the studying. You have to commit to becoming better. You have to commit to being a person of action. You have to commit to being someone who doesn't just talk, but follows through. Become someone who does, instead of someone who just talks.
If you really want it, it's yours to take. No one gives it to you or takes it away. It's yours if you want it. It's a marathon, not a sprint. There's no fast fix to achieving extraordinary grades. There'll be days you'll be tired, even exhausted, but you continue regardless because you don't judge it on the daily. You judge it in the long frame. You keep your eyes on graduation. You know there's going to be ups and downs, but you know that it's all going to be worth it. You know that when you start getting results, it's going to be worth it. You'll look in the mirror and you'll say, yeah, I did this. You feel this overwhelming feeling that you're overworking the crowd. You're overworking everybody around you. You're studying more than them. You became something. You became somebody. And once you get there, that's when you know you've done enough. But don't talk about it. Practice what you preach. And just do it. It won't happen overnight. It's gonna take months and months of work. Just don't quit. You keep fighting. You keep fighting no matter what. Because trust me, on graduation day, you'll look back over the last few years and you'll realize it was worth it.
When I was at university, my professor asked us, "Why do you want a 4.0 GPA? What do you want to accomplish? Why are you studying?" And someone would get up and say, "Because if I work hard and I study well, and do well in my exams to get some work experience, then maybe I can get a good job and provide for my family, and become what I've been put on this planet to become." My professor said, "Sit down, because if you think with such uncertainty, if you say the word maybe, then you're never going to make it. You have to get up and be absolutely convinced you're going to become a success. Your path to success starts right now with your daily studying. You have to do whatever it takes, however many hours of studying it takes, reading textbooks until late at night, going to see your professor if you have questions, attending every class, arriving at the library at 6 a.m. while everyone else is still sleeping. Whatever it takes, you need to do it. That's the answer I want to hear from you. I can see straight away those students that are a bit wobbly and struggling with motivation, and those that have a deep sense of hunger within them that is driving them to put in 100% effort every day. Those that have a short-term and long-term goal that they're chasing every day. I can see it in their eyes. I can see it in their actions. I can see it in what they do. Their passion, their drive, their relentlessness. They just go on and on and on. They study when they're tired. They study when they're bored. They study when their body keeps telling them to procrastinate, but they manage to push out 1 or 2 hours more studying. And it's this extra bit of studying that differentiates these top students from the rest of the class. And it's not some genetic advantage that the high-achieving students have. They've built up the discipline every day, over years of working on improving themselves, on improving their concentration, their work ethic, their daily routines. No matter how long their day was at university and how much work they had, they will always go home and study some more. They have a very clear vision of where they're going, because as Arnold Schwarzenegger puts it, you can have the best ship in the world, the best cruise ship in the world, but if the captain doesn't know where to go, that ship will drift around the world out there at sea, and it will never end up anywhere. And this is exactly the way it is in real life. If you don't have a goal, and you don't have a vision, then you're not going to be happy. And that's why it's so important to have that vision.
It's so easy for people to fall into the trap of studying, but getting mediocre grades. And they know what they want. They know they want to improve, but they don't actually do anything to change anything. So they get average grades for the rest of the year. They make up excuses why they can't get better grades. But in reality, they are exactly that, just excuses. The hardest thing to do is to take the first step on the path to improvement. But once you take that first step, it's easier to then take another, then another, then another. Because greatness isn't achieved by taking just one step, but it's about taking lots of small steps, the small decisions you make throughout the day that all add up to achieve that goal. It's easy for us to look at people that are doing well, that are getting good grades, that are volunteering, that are getting work experience, that seem to be completely unfazed at university, and think, that person just got lucky. They're cleverer than me. They're more academic than me. They have more support than me. But the reality is that they took that first step to self-growth, and then they took another step, and another. And what you're seeing is the result of them making dozens of right decisions every day. They get up, they don't make excuses, and they go out, get their head down, and study. So why not you? Because that can be you. But you need to start getting things moving. You need to take that first step. Whatever it is, whether it's waking up an hour earlier or studying for an extra hour that night, it doesn't really matter what it is, because it's just one step. And from there, it'll encourage you to take another step, and then another. And everyone that you look up to, you can be that person. You can become the person that people look up to, because we all have greatness deep within us. But only a few have taken the steps to become great. Everything you want, you can have. It's not out of reach. The only thing stopping you is you and your actions. What you do today will determine whether you ever reach it.
Some of you, the reason why you're not where you want to be is because you're a slave to your feelings. You give in to your feelings. You don't feel like waking up, so you don't wake up. You don't feel like studying, so you don't study. You don't feel like going to the gym, so you don't go to the gym. And that's the problem, because it's very rare that you actually feel like doing the things you need to do. And how do you fix this? There's just one way. You have to ignore how you're feeling and do it anyway. You need to get your studying done. It doesn't matter how tired you are. So what? Everyone around you is also tired. Just don't think about it. You just know that it's something that has to be done. You're at university to study. It's just what you have to do. Don't give in to the immediate gratification that is whispering in your ear, because it's an easy hill to slide down. Once you make one bad decision, then you make another, and then another, and before you know it, you're failing exam after exam after exam. You need to take action before you get to that point.
It's very simple. The attitude you have when facing struggles and obstacles is what determines whether you will be successful. And if you're going to commit the next 2, 3, 4 years of your life to your education, then your attitude is everything. Being able to keep studying despite the adversity thrown at you. You fail an exam, keep studying. You argue with your friends, keep studying. You have money problems, keep studying. You keep on marching on through the struggle, the chaos, the frustration, the procrastination, the disappointment, the anger, the regret. When all that is there, but you keep studying through it all, you know you have the discipline to be a successful person. It's the ability to know that even though at the time you feel overwhelmed and overpowered, you know deep down that it too shall pass. You will find a way. You will keep studying to chase your goal, to make you proud, to make your family proud, through thick and thin. You will continue studying. It is something that is ingrained into every successful person, the ability to push through difficult times, not because you were lucky with it, not because they inherited it, but because they developed it. They did it once, they did it again, they did it again, and each time after that gets easier and easier. The more you overcome your struggles today, the easier you'll overcome your struggles tomorrow. And once you build up that momentum of improving your productivity, it becomes a whole lot easier.
And it's funny how it works. The more you study, the more you understand the subjects and topics. And the more you prepare for your exams, the easier your exams will be. The easier university will be, the easier it will be to get a good internship or graduate job after graduating. It's really very simple. The more you study, the easier your life will be. Keep studying. Do not ever give up. Respect the struggle of your journey, because it's the struggle that will build you to be stronger. But be persistent. Keep working on it. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be hard. But that is an incredible thing, because you're going to figure it out. You will pull through. You have enough time. You have enough resources. You have enough commitment. You will find a way to smash your exams. Believe in yourself. You will figure things out. When tomorrow comes, you might not know what steps to take, but believe in yourself. Steer your own ship. It's your life. Take control.